Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I would like to present my paper in this important conference, international conference on intellectual advancements organized by Islamic University of Maldives. The title of my topic related to excel today's intellectual advancements based on Islamic science and civilizations. So as we know that in order to develop what we call our intellectual advancement, we have to study from the past. We as Muslims have to study from the Islamic side, Islamic civilizations. This not only what we call acknowledged by the Muslim as well as by the non-Muslim, including also Thomas Kuhn's, Fayez Banks, who say that in order to establish what we call the modern civilizations, we have to make sure that integration between modern and the past, especially Islamic civilization, must be considered as very crucial element for that purpose. So, as you know, for example, we have to, when we look to the history of Islam, to participate in intellectual culture and appreciate one to another is become a very crucial element in order to create a very conducive environment with the tolerance between the scholars between the scholar as well as the rulers in this regard become very important means to develop Islamic intellectual advancement, especially when Bayt al-Hikmah, which has been led by Hunayn ibn Ishaq in Baghdad long time ago, become the very important center for translation of the Greek civilization into Islam. And this paper, of course, textual analysis, I try to bring so much as much as possible the paper which has been, or the writing, or the book which has been written by the Muslim, and then try to do a little bit idea in order to link with how to become, how to develop or establish our intellectual advancement today. And so this is the ideas of the prominent Muslim scholar with importance in this regard. So the first one, no doubt, Al-Kindi, who re-established what we call the value of philosophy, and no doubt what we call the philosophy behind that. Sometimes we look into negative, while some people say that وَمَنْ تَفَلْسَفَ فَقَدْ تَزَلَّقَ. But in this case, Imam Al-Kindi tried to re-establish the value of philosophy in line with the religions. So at the same time also, Al-Kindi wrote fi Ma'rifatul Quwwat al-Adiyah wal-Murakkabah. So in regard about the degree or the density and the quality of the compound drug, this is something that related to pharmaceutical science, by which we have to study, and later if we have the financial support to translate in order to understand better and better about the drug which become very important things in order to cure the disease. At the same time also, Al-Kindi wrote the book Fi Al-Hilal Al-Hasan. This is the book something to solve the problem of unhappiness or the sorrow that happened in the past, that relevant also into Islam. And Hunayn ibn Ishaq, as I mentioned to you, the director of Bayt al-Hikmah, in this regard, he translates so many books which has been recorded in his epistle known as Risalah Hunayn ibn Ishaq di Ali ibn Yahya fi dhikru ma turjam min kutub Jalinus wa lam yutarjam min kutub Jalinus. And Kitab al-Masal al-Fiqh, this is the way to put the book in the form of question and answer, which is very important, consists with 6 general principles. And no doubt, Ad-Dinawari, with his book Kitab An-Nabat, the book of the plant, and then he able to classify An-Nabat into 3 aspects. The first one is the plant part, which may be used for the food as the diet, and the secondly, the wild the plant, and thirdly, the plant with nutritive food. And Al-Rohawi, the one who wrote the book about Kitab Adab al-Tabib, and this book has been translated by Levi Martins long time ago, and Alhamdulillah, I also translate the book into Malay. I hope we can also study what behind about medical ethics, which including from head to the toe. And no doubt Ibn al-Qurra, Sabi Ibn al-Qurra with his family members who involved directly contribute a lot in medical science, especially through as well as about the epistemology of knowledge. Therefore, he is the one who established the theory regarding about maratib al-ulum, the ranks of the knowledge, the classification of knowledge, which is very important in order to find it. And no doubt Abu Hassan Ahmad At-Tabari, what we call with his book Al-Mu'alaja Al-Imukratiyah. So this book is based on the worldview which has been established by the founder of medical science in Greek, namely Hippocrates, known in Arabic as Abu Quran. And of course, this book try to give what we call definition of health, and definition of disease, and then how to settle, how to solve the problem which has been occurred today at time, as well as relevant to today's life. And this is the book by Abu Saleh Isa bin Yahya al-Masihi al-Jurjani with the book Kitab al-Mi'ah fi at-Tib. So in this case, he tried to combine at least 100 issues related to medical science, and then try to give the treatment, the solution behind that in 100 chapters. And Ibn Sina, no doubt among the very popular Muslim medical doctor, he was known with the title as Sheikh Al-Rais because of his book Al-Qanun fi at-Tib and also his book Al-Adawiyah Al-Qalbiyah on the cordial vocal drugs. This is maybe what we can detail a little bit about what we call Al-Qanun fi at-Tib, but I do not have enough time to discuss here. However, we have to understand that one of the very important book written by Ibn Sina is Ashifa. This is a philosophical one, meaning that how to settle, how to deal with something that happened to ourselves, our body, in a philosophical aspect. You can find in the book Ashifa, right? Meaning that the healing or the treatment. And this is Abu Ibn al-Haytham, known with his theory of Kitab al-Manazil, the optics. I think this is the foundation that we are able to understand about the theory of the ethic that's into this life. And the next one is Abu Bakr Zakaria al-Razi. The one is a very important figure who died in 925. And then the Westerns, especially through Sartor in his book, The Introduction to the History of Science, decided to call the period of Al-Razi as the time of Al-Razi. And with this, what we call Al-Razi also contributes so many things. What we call Ibn Nadim also lists down so many books which has been written by Al-Razi. Some of them has still been available and some of them lost already. And then we know also that what we call Al-Razi wrote the book Kitab Sir al-Asrar. The one trying to know about the secret of the knowledge, something that related to natural science, as well as the philosophy, as well as the religions. In another world, we may know about the wisdom of the knowledge. This is one of the very important book, Kitab Al-Hawi fi at-Tib, related to the medicines, which is very comprehensive. I think more than 10 volumes already. And what we call Al-Razi, of course, in this regard, try to understand the medicine is not only based on a philosophical approach, at the same time also clinical approach. So according to Al-Biruni, he tried to list down the book which has been written by Al-Razi from the medicines until what we call various arts. So from number 1 until number 184. So therefore we are as a Muslim, in order to advance our intellectual understanding, no doubt we have to refer what has been written by Al-Razi as well as the other Muslim scholars. So this is Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni also very important figure, the ones who wrote the book As-Sayyidah fi at-Tib, as well as the one who tried to study about what we call comparative religions through Kitab Al-Hins and Kitab Al-Asar Al-Asar, something, I mean, chronological that happened in the past until this time. And no doubt Al-Biruni, when he wrote the book Kitab Al-Hins, in my understanding, and then this book has been translated also by into English by Sakau, And then so the people say that without this book, maybe the history of India will be undone properly or perfectly. So this is one of the contribution of Al-Biruni in this regard. So therefore, in order to develop an intellectual advancement, we have to know the lesson from the past. The first one, maybe this is in regarding to establish modern science that we have today, or modern civilization that we have today. We have to go through several phases or steps. Number one, maybe Reconquista and European Renaissance, mechanical philosophy, empiricism, as well as what we call advanced instrument. No doubt nowadays we have very high-end technology, but we have to acknowledge also what has been contributed by Imam Al-Ghazali as well as Ibn Shatir, because Imam Al-Ghazali, the one who tried to destroy the foundation of Aristotle. By destroying the foundation of Aristotle, we will understand better and better about something that related to atoms, something that related to the modern theory that related to atom. We may understand about the existence of the space or not, but finally with the theory of the atom, we found that the existence of what was impossible because nature abhor our cube. So this idea very simple, but firstly has been table discussed by Imam Al-Ghazali. Even though he is a Sufism, but at the same time also he is a natural scientist, by which he understands about atom. In the Quran also mentioned about Zabra here and there. This indicates about the importance to understand atom, and by understanding the atom we can develop maybe so many theories and become a mechanical and medical, as well as the science related to engineering, computer and so on. And so, as I mentioned to you, two fundamental theory or understanding by the Greek has been destroyed by Imam Al-Ghazali. But today we understand that the Western tried to destroy the principle which has been established by Aristotle, more than two, in order to develop a perfect civilization and understanding better and better. And then finally, no doubt, with the contribution of Islam, Muslim scholars, regarding about the transmission of Indian, transmission of Greek mathematics and astronomy through into Arabic, and no doubt we as modern civilizations today may understand better and better in order to develop something that related to mathematics as well as astronomy. And finally, come to the conclusion, I would like to say that it is found that Islamic civilization contribution must play an important role in the emergence and the birth of the modern intellectual advancement. In other words, modern intellectual advancement is neither a uniquely European cultural intellectual advancement, nor purely from the Greek, but as a result of the integration with the modern civilization, including also Islamic intellectual civilization advancement as well as the thought. I think this is all for my presentation today. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.